Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, Milky Confrontation, when a Karen demands cows and discounts at the dairy farm. The second story, Vendetta in the Shadows, unveiling the Sicilian quest for revenge in the world of federal IT contracting. The third story, CCO of the company is forcing me to illegally use someone else's intellectual property. The first story is, EM thinks our fresh milk is too expensive, wants to buy calf instead. After reading and listening to stories from this subreddit for over a year now, I've dreamed of the day I would encounter a Karen or EP in the wild. Never expecting it to ever happen, but today was the day, and boy, what an encounter it was. So for a little bit of background, my grandma works on a medium-sized dairy farm as a kind of manager, and I, 18 female, help her out from time to time. We have a thing called Milk Filling Station. It's basically a vending machine where you can buy fresh milk from us, and it's €1 per liter. We're located on a hill a little outside a small village and surrounded by meadows and forests, so we do get some hikers or families on a nice walk from time to time, especially on the weekends, and they usually look at the calves and buy some milk. One shift here usually includes 4 people. Everyone has different jobs to fulfill, so most of the time you're alone just doing your tasks, and my job is essential for the milking process, as it includes bringing the cows to the milking station and back to their herds. And now on to the actual story. As I've mentioned, I'm alone most of the time, just doing my thing, running around inside the farm. It's a restricted area. We have signs up since it can be quite dangerous, but the gates are open to make work easier and for ventilation, so theoretically everyone could walk in. Still, I was kinda surprised when in the midst of my work, we're met with a rather annoyed behind me. I turned around and saw a woman maybe in her mid-30s standing before me, way too overdressed to be seen anywhere near a farm. She also didn't look like she was on a casual walk with her family. At least I wouldn't do one in the high heels she was wearing. She was looking at me rather angrily, and I immediately knew that this was probably the day I'd been waiting for, although I never expected it to be here of all places. Before I could even so much as open my mouth, she already started speaking in a very condescending tone to me. Finally, I've been looking for someone to help me for ages. Why are none of you doing your job and being there when you're needed? I was instantly annoyed with this woman because how dare she come in here and talk to me like that? And also, what job was she referring to? Because I, for one, was doing mine right at this moment, and it was strictly timed. I had to get stuff done with 0 time to listen to this lady. Still, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt and be nice. Sorry, if you're referring to the office in the front, there usually is no one since we're all in here doing our job. What's the problem? Maybe I can help. I thought that maybe she's had a flat tire or something around in here and needed help, because I legitimately had no idea what someone dressed like her could want on a dairy farm. She just scoffed at me. EM, unbelievable. You should be over there in case someone needs your help like I do. Anyways, your milk is too expensive. Me, I'm sorry, what? EM, I said your milk is too expensive. I want a better price. She was saying every word slowly and loudly as if she thought I was disabled. Me, oh, are you talking about the vending machine? I'm sorry, but that's a fixed price. I can't change that, and in my opinion, she cut me off. EM, I didn't ask for your opinion. It's way cheaper at the supermarket, but my daughter wanted to try fresh milk, so we drove here. You should match the price at the supermarket or you won't sell much. Me, ma'am, we're not a supermarket. We're selling the leftover fresh milk so it doesn't go to waste. She cut me off again. EM, what? That's leftover milk? Ooh, and to imagine my daughter could have drank that. Now for clarification, when I said leftover milk, I meant that it was fresh milk, as in barely out of the cow fresh, that we weren't able to sell to the company which collects our milk because they have fixed numbers, and if we produce more milk than those numbers, we would have to throw it away. But with the vending machine, at least some of it still gets sold. If you want fresher milk than that, you would have to milk the cow yourself right into the bottle. I started to try and explain this to the EM, but she immediately cut me off again. No, this is unacceptable. Neither me nor my child will drink old milk. And then the dreaded sentence came. I want to speak to your manager.
I already had enough of this BS, pun intended, and as I've already said, a strictly timed job that I had to get back to, because we were in the middle of milking our cows, and this lady was literally holding up the whole process by holding up me. So I was more than happy to agree and get her to my manager, my grandma, and have her out of my hair. I just motioned for her to follow me and speed walked in the direction of the front office, while the lady was trying to keep up in her high heels without breaking her ankles. Now, our office is in kind of another building, and the door closest to us was locked, so we had to walk around the building, across the parking lot for the workers and through another entrance that happened to be right besides the boxes we kept the newborn calves in. This also was the place where I met the before-mentioned daughter of the EM. The girl was maybe 10 years old and happily watching the calves and petting them when we came into view. As soon as she saw our mom, she ran to her and started excitedly jumping up and down. E.g., Mom, look at the cute calves. She dragged her mom over to the boxes. E.g., look, it's so cute. I named her Emma. Can we keep her, please? I expected the EM to maybe say something along the lines of, a cow is not a pet, or we don't have the space, or maybe I don't know how to take care of a cow, but boy was I wrong. Instead, the mom turns to me and asks completely serious, EM, how much are these? Now, although we do sell our male calves since they are of no use to us, I for one wasn't sure how much exactly this calf was worth. Pretty sure that there was a registration process involved in owning a cow, and in no way, shape, or form authorized to just sell a calf like that. And on top of that, cows aren't exactly animals you can just put in your yard and be done with. Me, I'm sorry, but I was cut off again. EM, no, I asked how much it is. Tell me. Me, ma'am, that's a cow, not a pet. EM, I know, but your milk is way too expensive anyways. Just sell me one of those if my daughter wants it, and we'll have our own really fresh milk. At this point, I strongly considered just walking away, because there was no way this woman could be serious. She dead-a wanted to buy an animal that would grow up to be around 1.40 meters high and 700 kilograms heavy, strong enough to kill you if you handled them wrong. Not only that, but also a cow of a breed that needs to be milked twice a day, because it produces as much milk as possible, which is around 30 to 50 liters at our farm. All that because €1 per liter for fresh milk apparently was too much, and her daughter thought our calves were cute. They are, but that's not the point. Plus, you need to properly take care of them, feed them right, and just getting a calf won't give you instant milk. She has to grow up, get pregnant, give birth, etc. All around, this EM would have to wait for another 24 to 28 months until her calf starts giving milk, and then repeat the process every year, so she would have new calves to take care of every year just to keep her one cow running, so to speak. Instead of telling her directly how stupid, time, and money-consuming this idea is, I decided to try and take the diplomatic way. Me, ma'am, I understand, but it's not that easy. I'm afraid I'm not able. EM, then get me something who's able. I want to speak to your manager anyways. Why do you have to be such an incompetent worker? How old are you, 15? Children shouldn't talk back to adults. That's where I've had it, and so I just blurted out the best thing I could think of at the time. Me, I am an adult, and you should stop talking to me like that. I'm not obligated to help you, and in fact, we could sue you for trespassing on private property. EM, how dare you threaten me? Young lady, that's no way to talk to a person older than you. Learn some respect. I demand to speak to your manager. I will get you fired for this. As if she was called, my grandma stepped out of the building right at that moment, probably because she heard the commotion. GM, what's going on here? EM, oh good, are you the manager of this place? GM, at the moment, yes. How can I help you? EM, this worker of yours was incredibly rude. She threatened me and my daughter and refused to help us. She even tried to assault me right before you came outside. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't been on time. EM was trying to squeeze some fake tears out at this point, quickly swiping them away with her finger before they could ruin her very thick layer of makeup. EM, all we wanted was to ask if we could get the milk you're selling a little cheaper, and my daughter here really likes this calf over there, so we thought about buying it. My grandma was just silently listening to this woman's story, arms crossed and eyebrow raised because she could smell the BS from 3 miles away. GM, ma'am, this is my granddaughter you're talking about, and I know for a fact that she wouldn't do any of that. EM went awfully quiet at that. GM, so about the milk, I maybe would have helped you out if you hadn't just lied to my face, but now I kindly ask you to just pay the full price as everyone else does. And the calf, I'm afraid I won't be able to sell it to you. EM, this is outrageous. I'm paying a customer. I'm a paying customer. I would pay for this calf. Why are you refusing? My daughter wants a cow, and she likes this one here. EG, her name is Emma. GM, ma'am, that won't give you a cow. It will give you a bull. It's a male calf. EM, you're lying. You don't want to sell it because it's pretty. My grandma just silently pointed to the big male symbol on the side of the box, clearly labeling it as a boy. At this point, the EM just huffed and mumbled something about stupid, uneducated people from the countryside and how she would never come back here ever again, which I would also really appreciate. The EG was whining loudly about her Emma while her mom was dragging her back to their expensive-looking car, and my grandma and I watched them drive away before having a good laugh about the whole story. The second story is, in Sicilian culture, revenge is an imperative, genetic, and mandatory. In 2009, I interviewed for a tech job which was advertised as a direct hire non-contract position. Interview went well, though I did make it a point to confirm again that this was direct hire long-term position and was offered the job. One weekend, I overhear my manager tell another that they had 6 months to get what they needed from me. I confronted him privately and he wouldn't say a word to me. This was a federal contract. He shouldn't have lied and he should have fired me right there and then when he had the chance. I've spent decades in the business and understand well the relationship between the federal contact managers and the contractors. Spent the next 5 months establishing excellent working relationships with the feds and delivered everything that was asked. In the last month, I thrashed contract management behind their backs and undermined them in ways that to this day they still don't know about. What they did know about infuriated them. Turns out the feds extended my contract, which was fortunate. It gave me more time to bail out, which infuriated them even more. Less than a year later, the company lost the bid for the contract, which was worth $500 million. The federal IT contracting business in the DC metro area is small and incestuous and nepotistic. As it happens, my next job was with one of the competitive bidders on that very same contract. Management knew this and I was assigned to assist the team writing the bid. Having inside information of the contract and the state of the deployment, where the deficiencies were, what the government was unhappy with was very useful. We won. There's a transition period where the new contractor comes on site, and before the former contract ends. Because I had a good relationship with the client and history, I was assigned to the contract. Wasn't long before I crossed paths with my former manager. Smart A grin on my face, I said, "Don't let the door hit you in the A on the way out." A deep crimson hue rapidly overtook his face. He lost his job when the contract was up. Revenge is so very sweet. Moral of the story is don't lie. Never underestimate anyone and treat everyone respectfully, especially Sicilians. The third story is, completed a design challenge in the interview process. Got the job and was instructed to use other candidates' submissions in the actual product without their knowledge. In 2018, I applied for a UX position at a small software company. As a part of the interview process, I was given a few days to perform a design challenge, which focused on the language of the app. While working on it, I was concerned that the company would use my ideas without hiring me. So I emailed the VP of engineering and asked if the challenge was purely hypothetical. He assured me it was and the company would not profit from my ideas. I did my best and presented a viable solution. I was hired and within the first month, I was told the hypothetical design challenge was actually a real project the company was unable to solve for years. I was then instructed by the COO to review the previous applicants' ideas and incorporate them into the final product. I didn't do it. I lied and said I did. I wasn't going to steal intellectual property from people without their knowledge. I stayed for 10 months but was eventually fired for calling a meeting with the VP of engineering and politely confronting him about his negative pattern of behavior, condescending attitude, and methods of creating a toxic work environment. Since I was the newbie and the VP was tight with the COO for 15 years, they got mad because I spoke the truth, and I was fired unjustly without a reason. I applied for unemployment and the company tried to deny it. I opened a case with the state, who took statements from both parties and eventually the state sided with me, proving that company was full of a bunch of lying F-puppets. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.